What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Shout out to the Dragon Riders and the House of the Dragon. You guys, we are up a little bit as of the last 24 hours, aren't we? $458 is the current price. We closed the day yesterday with an 8% move. That is the biggest day that we've seen since April 20th last month. So about a month ago, that's the biggest day that we've had. And that's a pretty exciting thing, I would say, but it doesn't have me too excited or too worried. As most of you know, if you don't know, I am calling for lower prices. I'm calling for prices to go somewhere between about 376 to 350, somewhere and everywhere in between those ranges. I don't know why, but are you guys seeing there's this little plus sign? Why is that there? I think that's so cool. When did that plus sign get there? Anyways, I'm going to pause the music. If you guys would hit the like button and subscribe, that's always appreciated. Let's get into the TA right now. So looking at this, all this is a lower high in an entire series of lower highs, right? It has the potential to be more, right? You're in a precarious placement, a delicate spot right now where if you continue to move up, not by much, you could really invalidate my theory of going lower here, of actually forming lower lows than this low here, which is still on the table. I haven't changed my position on that at all. I'm unfazed, I'm unfaltered. I'm not amused by this lower high with less than average volume. It is less than average. If we take the relative high to low here, we did find resistance at the 382. Yesterday did close us above the 236, but it's not enough to get me too scared. Really, closing above the 382 here at above about $500, that would convince me completely and utterly, and not wicking above it, but closing above it, would convince me that this low is no longer on the table. I would even start to be a little bit shaken if we can close above this 236 here, which really, I mean, that 236 would be nice, but really this daily high close is what would do it for me. 473. If we can close above 473, we still have a chance of going below this low. It's not completely worth forgetting about, but I would personally shift on a daily basis if we can close above that white line. And the further away, the better. You know, if it's a little bit above it, like this day, like if it was just a little bit above, like here, that might not convince me completely, but, you know, a little bit more. Like if we close all the way up here, that'd be nice. But a close above that line wouldn't convince me that these lows are, or that lower lows are no longer on the table, but it would start to shift my view to that of the more bullish view. You know, at that point, I might look for a higher low here and to work up inevitably to the upside. I might forego these lower lows being a possibility, though I would, maybe not possibility, I should say probability. I would accept it as a possibility, but not a probability anymore. Right now, to me, even with this 8% day yesterday, it's more probable still to go lower. And beyond the fact that we are just forming another lower high, if we look at the RSI, the daily RSI, and I want to make sure I've done this. Yes, okay, cool. The daily RSI, for what it's worth, you have a high here. If I put a white line right at the top there, right at the top of that little peak, you can see that you went a little bit higher here. So high, higher high, and another higher high. That's two higher highs out of three highs total, right? Here you have a high on this same one here, a high in price, a lower high, and a lower high. So that's lower highs mixed with higher highs. It's actually a bearish thing. That's called hidden bearish divergence. Being that you have below average volume, you have a lower high, and you have hidden bearish divergence. I'm not amused. I'm not amused at all to the slightest. I'm still very much anticipating prices down at about 350 to 376. 350 there at the 1618, 376 at the 1272 there. I do actually accept and anticipate kind of normally my minimum expectation would be this price, right? And I'm stumbling a lot on my words. I kind of look at this whole range as a target, right? Of which this would be the max or the minimum, and this would be the max. So truthfully, not necessarily either of these lines, but somewhere in between is what I normally look for. However, this time around, I do accept the possibility of not quite reaching the 1272, which is less common thing to do. It's a lot less of a common thing to do, but there are reasons for that. And generally speaking, with how we've acted with this green line, the 123, we have gone just a little bit below it this whole time, this whole bull market essentially. So going to the 1272 would be a bit of a further stretch than we've seen, but I mean, who really cares? That green line, like, you could go as far away from it as you want to. It's not like it's some kind of wall or magnet or anything, but I'm just saying, based off the behavior that we've seen, it wouldn't surprise me if we didn't reach the 1272. So even though, yes, 376 and 350, that's the target area outlined, specifically in my opinion, this 376 to 365 area is the one to pay attention to. Even though that's the area outlined, I do accept that maybe we find support somewhere in the black zone instead of actually at one of these fib levels or through them. Convince me that I'm wrong, Bitcoin Cash. Convince me that I'm wrong. All you have to do, really, well, I mean, to really convince me, you'd have to close above your 382. But I would assume even before we close above here, I would start to be bullish if we can close at least one day, but depending on how the day is, I might want to see 2 days, but not a 4-hour candle, not an hour candle, a day above that white line. If we could break it, if some volume can start to come in, that would be nice. I don't know if I have anything else that I want to say. If we look at the 4-hour, RSI looks kind of nice. I wonder, what's the 123? What's it look like? Yep. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's kind of a prime setup based off of my own kind of methods, let's say, that this is actually like an ideal area to sell and go short as of right now. Tight stop losses, if you went above, like, I mean, you're at 458 now. If you went $10 higher, close it out. But I'm not going short. I'm not trading it at all. I haven't really done any trades lately. Some BS trades with a very small amount of money on some meme coins, but that's about it. Just for funsies, But yeah, the way this looks, rejecting the 50, not being above the 50, but being above the green line, that's not a good situation. It can happen where you're above the green line and below the 50 here, and it's still fine, but just like generally speaking, look at this as an example, right? You were above the 50, you bounced above it, you found support on it here, but you were below the green line. That's the opposite effect, right? That's a good area to buy. Where here we are above the green line, yet finding resistance at the 50. It's not ideal. It's not ideal. Time will tell, but I'm kind of thinking this is a bull trap. We'll see. If it is a bull trap, that'll be proven by the end of this week, I would assume. I don't know, man. I'm not convinced. Convince me. That's all I really have to say. So if you want to look for lower prices like I do, the area that we need to close below essentially would be $409. If we can close below that, then I'm very, very, very convinced. I'm already pretty damn convinced that we're going to 376 to 350, specifically 365 to 376. However, if you can close above 473, I'll start to look the other way. I'll start to look for upside. And maybe we close above 473, and then we come back down and we close and form a higher low. Even if we closed above 473 pretty convincingly, and then we close back below it, that wouldn't scare me back into thinking that this low. That's not how it works. I'm just saying, be prepared, even if I am wrong and the price does go up here, and it does close up here, even if I am wrong, because that's not what I'm expecting, that doesn't mean we're just off to the moon immediately. It could prove me wrong and then inevitably go lower, but also at the same time forming higher lows. So, don't get scared if I'm proven wrong and then prices end up going lower than they currently are. That doesn't mean that it's time to get freaked out yet, right? The time to get freaked out, I suppose, would be if we went below 350, man. That's when it would be time to freak out. But I think we're okay. Anyways, man, I'm talking so much right now. I think that's the end of the video. That's all I got to say. If you guys like the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more. I very much appreciate all of you. Yes, I use the 10 RSI as my kind of standard default. The default RSI setting is 14 for everybody. I think it's fine if you want to use 14. It's fine if you want to use 20. Mess around with it, see what works for you. I use 10. I've had, a couple people who I know personally in the real world who are like, why do you use 10? That's so short. Or like even MHAT. I'm pretty sure MHAT's been the one that's been like, use 20. Or maybe it was higher. Maybe you said 12. I don't know if it was higher than 12 or what, but definitely higher than 10. I just like the 10 because I feel like it's a little bit faster. I feel like it's a little bit more preemptive. You can have inaccurate readings, but I think that's why pairing it with the long-term RSI is nice. I don't use the long-term RSI anymore on here because I think this just looks cleaner than having two of them, thrown on there. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I'm talking so much, man. Who really cares at the end of the day? That's all I got for you guys. Hit that like button, subscribe if you'd like to. Yeah, prices are still going down, in my opinion, and I'm holding to that until proven wrong, and of which I don't feel like I have. So yeah, take care. Bye bye.